morning, everyone, and Chodesh Tov. Today is Rosh Chodesh Cheshvan, and at the same time, we're reading the Torah portion of Noach. And the question is, what's the connection between Noach and Rosh Chodesh? So, the big question about Noach is the opening verse of the parsha says, Noach ish tzaddik. And I want you to know there's not one person in the Torah, not Moshe Rabbeinu, not Avram Avinu. There's no person that the Torah testifies so-and-so was a righteous person, a tzaddik. Even Yosef, we refer to him as Yosef at tzaddik, but the Torah doesn't actually call him a tzaddik. No, it's the only person in the whole Torah that the Torah says he was a tzaddik. Yet, we know that he ends in failure. He does not become a great hero, a great leader, surely not a patriarch of the Jewish people. And the question is, what happened to him? There's an interesting medrash. The medrash says that in the beginning of the parsha, it says that Noach was ish tzaddik, a man who was a perfectly righteous person. But after he comes out of the ark, we know that the Torah tells us, Vayachal Noach ish adama vayitem karam, which means that Noach, the man of the earth, debased himself and planted a vineyard. You know, the Talmud says there's two ways to test a person's character. It rhymes in Hebrew. It's even better in Hebrew. Bekiso, bekoso, ubekaso. The three ways to see a person's true nature is bekiso, his wallet, when it comes to money, how he acts. Bekoso, when his cup, when he drinks alcohol, how he acts. And bekaso, when he's angry, how he acts. But one of the ways is when a person consumes alcohol. And the first thing Noah does is he plants a vineyard, gets drunk, and he's laying naked in the tent. And we know what happens with his sons subsequent to that. So the Medrash says, look at Noah. He starts off as Ish Tzaddik, a man who was perfectly righteous. But how does he end out? Ish Adama, a man of the earth. A earthly man who pursued earthly material pleasures, alcohol, debased himself with material pleasures. On the other hand, the Medrash says, look at Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu, when he came to the well, when he fled Egypt, the daughters of Yisro come home to their father and they say, Ish Mitzri, an Egyptian man saved us from the shepherds. He was called an Egyptian man. At the end of the parsha, the Torah, when we read V'zos HaBracha, the Torah says, V'zos HaBracha, this is the blessing, that Moshe, Ish Elokim, a man of God. He starts off as an Egyptian man, he ends out as a man of God. Noah starts out as a Ish Tzaddik, he ends up as Ish Adama. And this is the exact message of Rosh Chodesh. Unlike the sun, which remains consistent and constant in its size, the moon waxes and wanes. And we human beings, especially the Jewish people, are told we're like the moon. Why? Because we're not stagnant. We're either increasing our light, like the moon does in the first half of the month, or we're waning, we're decreasing our light. And therefore we always have to strive to go from the lower Ish to the higher Ish, like Moshe, not from the higher Ish to the lower Ish, which means we have to say in which direction are we going? Are we increasing light, like the moon, or decreasing? And as they say in life, if you're not going uphill, right, you're going downhill, because you can't stay in one place. Life is like an escalator. You're either going up or down, and you have to make sure you're always going up. There's a story that I recently heard about a man who passed away, and the rabbi was officiating at the funeral. And all the family members were there, and it was sad. And all of a sudden, this guy shows up, a big burly guy with tattoos and earrings and a ponytail, and he's standing at the funeral on the side, and he's crying and crying. After the funeral, the rabbi goes and says, "What's your name?" He introduces him. He says, "Did you know the man?" He says, "Yes." "Are you related? Because I see you're crying so much." He says, "Yeah, this man saved my life." He says, "He saved your life? How did he save your life?" He says, "When I was 17 years old, he had a convenience shop. I went into the store and I did some shoplifting. I put some stuff in my pocket, and he caught me. And I thought, this is it. He's going to call my parents. He's going to call the police. I'm going to be arrested. I'm going to go to jail. My life is over." And then my whole life was taking a downhill trajectory. He says, this man called me over. He said, "Empty your pockets. I saw what you took." And he says, "I'll make a deal with you." He said, "I won't call your parents. I won't call the police. I'll let you go out. But you have to promise me you're going to clean up your act. And you're going to go back to school and start studying, stop playing hooky. You're going to start working on yourself and get good report cards and show me your report cards. And if you bring in good report cards, I'll give you anything you want from the store as a prize. Just start doing better and stop going in the wrong direction, because the way you're going, you're going to end up in a lot of trouble." And he said, he saved me. It turned my life around. He says, I went on a good path all as a result of him. Sometimes in life we could be heading one direction and the right person comes along and can turn us around and change our entire life. And we have to realize, like Noach, the choice is ours in which direction we're going to go. And like the moon, we always have to be growing and shining greater and greater like the light of the moon.